It is day 40 of the Zombie Hunter build. I have a lot of stuff to do, and I want to get a lot done. I want to get this thing road legal. Currently, I don't have lights. I have one brake light that I have, just set up. So I want to get the headlights in. I want to get the tail lights in. I want to get the turn signals all working and functional and everything. So there's that. Once I do that, I need to mount my bumpers on there. I don't have a rear bumper. I have the stock ones that I can always put back on there, but so I have to work on modifying and creating that rear bumper for it. The front bumper I don't have mounted on there right now. I was doing some thinking. I don't like the idea of having just C-channel in the front, so I will box it in, but allow access to put my bolts in and things like that. So I'm going to work on that and then fix that up. I also want to paint my wheels. Currently I have the stock 16 by 5.5 inch skinny little rims on there. Ideally I'd like to get new rims for it, but I have a lot of thinking to do. I'm going to need wheel spacers if I'm going to put any kind of alloy wheels on there. Currently, even at full turn, those tires rub, and even with the lift and everything on there. So what I want to do is get wheel spacers, and if I'm going to have alloy wheels, I'm going to need those wheel spacers just because the ET is a lot smaller on the alloy wheels than it is on the steel wheels. So going to work on that, but then again, I also don't, I can get Hutchinson beadlock wheels for G-wagon because they are a military vehicle. So they do offer that option, and that's what the military ones have. But those rims are all steel, super, super heavy, and not to mention also very expensive. So I've been considering getting some Jeep alloy wheels and getting just an adapter made. Instead of a spacer, get a spacer with an adapter in as well, and have those made so I can put Jeep wheels on there or Ford wheels. I can change whatever setup I want, either 5.5 or 5 and 5.5 or whatever, so depending on what kind of rims I want to get. I have seen some alloy wheels, super light but kind of military inspired, so I might get those with a simulated beadlock or things like that. I don't necessarily really need a beadlock wheel. The Hutchinsons are terrible with balancing and things like that, and the ride, it's rough enough, but just if they weren't balanced, then it's going to be shaking all over the place. Not that it doesn't already, but I just want to keep everything kind of as smooth as possible. So I don't know. I'll paint these wheels now just because I don't like the color of them, and if they're all black, I think it'll look a lot more attractive. But that's what we're doing today. Alright, so I got the wheels painted. They came out looking pretty decent. You know, much better than the silver that they were when they come stock. So it's kind of a flat black. You know, and I did the center caps as well. Back to work. Alright, so G-wagons come with a license plate, kind of like a bracket or a plate. So it, you know, there's holes in the door where you bolt it in there. And then you have this steel plate, and this mounts on there with the lights and stuff. And then you put the plate there. However, the bumper that I want to put on there has a spare tire carrier in the center. All right, generally G-wagon bumpers have a mounting location on the passenger side, and the spare tire, you know, mount is on there, and that's a swing away. You know, especially with the barn door ones. It's mounted to the door if you have a you know, the large door in the back. I have the barn doors, so that's why I have that kind of military style, or the cabrios, convertible. You know, the soft tops have that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up, and that's how I'm going to mount my Euro plate on there. I'm not going to be able to use it for my license plate just because the spare tire carrier is going to be covering it up, and I need to have that accessible for the police or whatever. So I have that Euro plate that I bought. I'm going to put that on there instead, and then I'm going to have another mount made for my actual license plate, either on the receiver or maybe on the tire itself. Alright, so now what I did is I found a piece of brass so a weld doesn't stick to brass, and I'm going to plug all these little holes in. Alright, so I got these holes where the license plate was mounted to, and they were at a weird position. It was very oddly put in there, so I'm going to plug these up, grind everything down, cover it with fast etch, and then paint this. You know, so I'll have a nice clean looking mount to mount my my Euro plate. So I'll re-drill holes where I need to put them for the new plate, and that'll be done. Alright, so Magnet Paints, the guys who make Monster Liner, also make this stuff called Chassis Saver. And I guess it's similar to Port 15, where it creates a thick barrier between the metal and the elements. So it's also paintable. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to coat these brackets that I made. So they're all welded up, boxed off, and I have the holes drilled for the mounting hardware. I'm just going to cover it up, and especially paying attention to all my welds, and make sure I cover those in this this product. So that'll prevent any kind of moisture or anything from getting inside the welds, and just, you know, ensuring that it stays strong and there's any corrosion. So I'm going to paint the brackets up, and then after that I'll spray it with a flat black spray primer, and hopefully that'll prevent any kind of, oh wow, so it comes on really nice actually. It's thicker than it looks. So I'm just gonna paint the whole thing up, you know, ensuring that I get every little bit inside every little tiny crevice, and you know, get this thing all covered up and good to go. Actually, it's coming on really nice. So hopefully, I've heard that if you brush it, it might bubble up as it's curing. Not that it really matters, because this is going to be a hidden piece behind the bumper. But I might not even have to. I don't think I even have to put any primer on this afterwards. It's super thick. Like it's you know, it's coming on really nice. It brushes on easily. So pretty cool. You know, I really like their products. The Monster Liner was easy to apply. This stuff seems very easy to apply. You know, I don't want to make it too thick because it's already tight going into the bumper, but just thick enough that all my welds are protected. Really cool product. I may do my whole frame with this actually. Had I known that it was this easy to apply, you know, maybe eventually down the road I'll do my whole frame with this stuff. Alright, so now we're wiring the headlights and all the other lights on the car, and some of them aren't working. So my buddy here, Andy, is helping me out with this. He's got a little bit more experience, actually a lot more experience with vehicle, the electrical system. So we got to figure out what's going on, and he's gonna splice in all new connections and things like that to make sure everything's working. Oh no.